Investing even further into their TV color syncing product line, Govee has unveiled a massive rebrand for all products that fall under the Immersion umbrella. DreamView now describes all light kits that utilize Govee's TV color tracking science, followed by their uniquely identifying model numbers. DreamView also describes Govee's large-scale TV ecosystem that allows for syncing non-DreamView products using a designated sync center. The first product to officially launch following the revamp is the DreamView G1 Pro Gaming Lite model H604A, and it's without a doubt Govee's most ambitious and stylish light kit to date, with light bars that tower over the original design, touch control, and a fully revised backlight system. But is this particular model right for you? And how does it compare to Govee's most comparable combo TV light kit, the DreamView T1 Pro model H605B? For this video, we'll get into the thick of it, the pros, cons, features, live demonstrations, and a lot more for the all-new DreamView G1 Pro. The DreamView gaming kit is currently being offered in two variations. The standard version, model H604B, which ships with the new camera and the neon rope light only, and is recommended for 24 to 29 inch screens. And the Pro version, model H604A, which ships with the new camera, the neon rope light, plus a pair of newly designed 16-inch light bars. And it's also recommended for 24 to 29 inch displays. This is the model I have in hand and will be focusing on for this particular video. The G1 Pro has a working voltage of 12 volts, a max wattage of 36 watts, and a combined lumen output of roughly 620 lumens versus 700 lumens in totality for the T1 Pro TV model that I'm currently using on my main TV. Now, because the G1 Pro light bars don't feature dedicated cool and warm white chips as with the original bars on previous models, it doesn't have a standard color temperature range, but I can report that the whites do look quite natural in person, though not quite on par as with the original set. The interesting thing about the included neon rope light, aka diffused light strip, is that it was actually released a few months ago as a standalone, which I covered off on in a previous video where I showcased the full scale of the Govee TV ecosystem. But this time around, the neon has been trimmed down to a length of 1400 millimeters or 4.5 feet, so it can accommodate displays between 24 and 29 inches. But as we'll discuss during the setup, you can get away with installing the G1 Pro on slightly larger displays. The G1 Pro Gaming Light ships inside of the largest packaging of any Govee ColorSync product to date. For size comparison, here's the box that the T1 Pro TV kit ships in. Really nice artwork and color scheme for both. But my favorite part about the G1 unboxing experience was the dark foam padding housing the all-new 16-inch curved light bars. Definitely a premium unboxing experience. At a glance, here's what's included inside. We have the all-new gaming camera, which houses all of the ports needed to power the unit, eliminating the need for a separate control box. For size comparison, on the far left, we have the camera that ships with the DreamView T1 H60999 model for 75 to 85 inch TVs. The camera that ships with the T1 Pro model in the center, and finally the G1 Pro on the far right. You'll notice that in addition to the sticky pad, the G1 camera uses a spring-loaded clip system. Moving along, we have two positioning cards for installation, one for 16:9 aspect ratio and the other for 21:9, 4 corner mounting clips, 5 straight mounting clips, 2 cable clips, the AC power adapter, a headphones linking cable, the 4.5 neon rope light, and finally the 16-inch curved bars, which are made of PVC, but they have a very nice aluminum brush finish. Before we get into the setup, I don't have a traditional gaming PC at the moment, but I do like to game on my monitor using my PS3 and Nintendo Switch consoles. I also use a super ultra-wide monitor that measures 49 inches across from corner to corner, which is far outside of Govee's recommendation for the G1. And on top of that, my monitor has a fairly aggressive curve and it isn't 100% flat, so it doesn't fall perfectly within Govee's recommendations there either. But as you can see, I made it work. At first, I was really worried about the lack of coverage on the sides, but the neon rope diffuser does a great job of expanding the light, even though the brightness is mildly reduced. And with two 16-inch light bars on either side, coverage turned out a lot better than I anticipated. Because I'm mostly viewing content in 16:9, I decided to go with that respective positioning card during the install. Unfortunately, when dealing with super ultra wide monitors, black bars are simply something that you have to become accustomed to, unless you're okay with stretching the screen to accommodate the additional real estate, which I will do on occasion. But overall, 16:9 on my super ultra wide monitor is the equivalent of a traditional 27-inch screen. Once you're all set on the rope light front, place the light bars about 12 inches from the screen on either side. If you're in a similar situation as I am, where side coverage is lacking, you can place the bars a bit closer or even behind the monitor if you want to. Because of the weight and spring load design, the camera is not really intended to be bottom mounted, and currently the app does not allow for bottom mount calibration. So if you have a reflective desk, you'll most likely notice a huge improvement with the accuracy by laying down a black desk mat. The G1 Pro is probably the most feature-packed light kit by Govee to date. In addition to voice control via Alexa and Google Home Assistant, the G1 Pro features 42 scene modes and 8 music modes, as opposed to 32 scene modes and 4 music modes for the H605B TV model. And on top of that, the G1 Pro has another major advantage over the T1, which is that it features 4 unique video sync modes. Each of these modes cause the lights to behave differently as the colors are being tracked across the screen. You can adjust reactive sensitivity for each of the modes as well, or you can turn on sound effects mode for the strip and the bars in tandem, or you can apply the sound effect to each device independently. There's also a logo light effect feature at the base of the bars that you probably noticed. You can set the logo light to auto, which will ensure that the logo matches the bottom segment portion of the bars, or you can customize a single color of your choosing. It doesn't look like you can turn off the logo effect altogether. However, if you find it a little distracting, if you choose a really dark color and set the brightness down to 1%, you can hardly tell that it's on at all. Another great add for the G1 Pro is the ability to power on and off the device via the touch button incorporated within the camera, which is a lot easier to reach than a dedicated control box mounted to the back of the monitor. Also, because the new light bars stand 6 inches taller than the original set, the individually adjustable top and middle segments are more in line with the installed backlight. Though I probably won't use this feature a ton myself, the included audio 3.5 cable for headsets ensures that sound effects are even more accurate versus the external mic on the underside of the camera.
Demo.
Now, while the neon rope doesn't quite rival the original strip in terms of overall brightness, I really do love the added diffusion, durability, and increased light spread provided by the diffuser housing. And the bracket system makes it much easier to remove the neon rope and reinstall in a new location if need be. So if you're someone that has to have the latest TV or monitor, the G1 Pro system, or even the recently announced Neon TV backlight are very solid alternatives to the traditional light strip models. Though do keep in mind that the Neon TV backlight on pre-order doesn't appear to include the 1080p camera required to track the TV colors. So it looks like that particular model is more for generic bias lighting. And if your TV is larger than 55 inches, you won't have any coverage on the bottom section of the TV. I'd personally really like to see a neon rope model that includes the bars, provides full coverage for 65 to 75 TVs, and includes the TV camera for color sync. If you'd be interested in seeing something along these lines as well, drop a comment down below. As for the G1 Pro new camera and bar design, while I really dig the sleek bars and the fighter jet looking camera with touch controls, there's actually a handful of features from the T1 Pro TV model that I do miss. Being that the G1 Pro was specifically designed with desktops in mind, it would have been awesome to see dedicated cool and warm chips incorporated for the light bars as with the T1 model. While the G1 Pro can definitely fill this need as is, dedicated warm and cool beads would have been a nice bonus for when you're ready to switch from gaming to getting some work done. I'd even argue that dedicated color temperatures makes even more sense for a desktop setup versus a living room TV. Moreover, with the merging of the control box and camera into a single unit for the G1, you're unable to use the neon rope or the light bars independently of the camera. The inability to bottom mount the camera also means that monitor light bars will have to be removed or repositioned. But the biggest item on my Govee wish list is to see future models that offer camera desktop placement, similar to Ambivision. I'm still going strong with the camera hack system I came up with nearly a year ago, but I'm hopeful that we see more innovative ideas in that area. Nitpicks aside, the G1 Pro gaming light is a very viable option for PC gamers, monitor streamers, or even console gamers like me. You'll get reliable color tracking across various types of content, and you won't run into any DRM issues. And even though it's being marketed as a monitor kit, if you happen to be using a TV that falls within 24 to 48 inches, the G1 Pro just might be the perfect fit for you because it fits right within that sweet spot for those with smaller TVs below 55 inches. In fact, I would even argue that the G1 Pro or even the G1 standard model are considerable upgrades as opposed to the DreamView P1 standalone light bars, which are meant to fit the need for those with screens that are 45 inches or smaller. If you guys have any general follow-ups, drop them down below, and I always do my very best to get back with you. As always, thanks for watching and supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.